decide to walk with me around the lake tonight. Around the lake.
Remember, the Junkies Poker Open is back at the Borgata Hotel Casino and Spa in Atlantic City. That's next week, Thursday, November 6th. You can register right now at junkiespokeropen.com. It's brought to you by our friends at Atomic Metals.
I think I'm the favorite.
Get in the mix.
I mean, Case and I were talking about that. No, I don't usually say that because usually I only play once a year, but I realized because we had the Maryland Live poker tournament where I lasted about 35 minutes before going all in and getting bounced out, that I've really hunkered down this year, worked on my game.
Yeah, you got your prep in.
The favorite.
I got the prep in at Maryland Live.
I am the favorite like I am every tournament.
Yes.
Why do you sleep
So
on
that's
that?
coming up next week, so get in the field, junkiespokeropen.com to register. Right now, we're joined by Ian Rapoport, NFL Media Insider. You can follow him on Twitter at RapSheet. Starting this week, Thursday Night Football goes exclusively to NFL Network with Saints-Panthers at 8:25 Eastern. Coverage starts at 6 p.m. on NFL Network with NFL Total Access kickoff live from Charlotte. It's Ian Rapoport. Ian, good morning.
What's going on, guys? How are you?
Oh, we're actually having a little fun today because the Redskins actually won, so people here in D.C. are happy.
I noticed that.
Yeah. How surprised were you by what happened last night?
I saw all that coming.
Yeah, right.
It was amazing because I remember when I visited the Redskins, early on for the Thursday Night Football game. One of the things I heard from, that we did a bunch of reporting on at that point, they were not ready to commit to RG3 as their starter if he came back, and there was all this quarterback talk. But the one thing I heard was we have three good quarterbacks. Cole McCoy's really played well. And I said, okay, great. Because you hear that a lot because, you want to sort of pump up your third-string guy. But it was true. I mean, he looked like a legitimate NFL quarterback. And, I was tweeting out last night, I think Cole McCoy, whose career has been over like 4 different times, he has just put in a good resume to be a excellent backup somewhere for a long time.
Yeah, no question about it. He's completing 86% of his passes thus far.
We've been surprised at just the numbers, Ian. I mean, if you look at and a lot of people don't put a lot of stock in it, but the Redskins, even with the pathetic record coming into last night, were ranked 7 in total offense and 7 in total defense. The only other team that's ranked in the top 10 is Denver in both categories. So we were kind of surprised, and I know you can kind of pick apart these statistical categories and create an argument for them, but maybe they just haven't played as poorly as their record shows, and the turnovers is really what's killing them.
I think that's possible, and I thought about that last night with the offense. Like, I think one thing is clear. I remember when Jay Gruden was hired, and word kind of came out immediately that he was going to hire for his offensive coordinator somebody named Sean McVay, and he looks like he's in his early 20s. I know he's not, but he looks like he's in his early 20s, and I hadn't really heard of him. And their offense has been, regardless of who is quarterback, it's been able to move the ball a lot. I think last night, getting a third-string quarterback ready like that against not a great defense, but a sound defense is unbelievable. And then, what Hazlitt did to really confuse Romo the entire game, I mean, the talent isn't great, but this is really a very well-coached team. That's pretty clear.
Just to change topics, NFL trade deadline, I believe, is today. Have you heard about any possible movement?
I've heard about a lot of possible movement. And, the Bucs have gotten calls on 3 of their big guys, Vincent Jackson, Doug Martin, and Mark Barron. The Titans have gotten calls from some of their veterans. Nate Washington is the one that really stands out. I think the Raiders would be willing to deal some of their veterans. Justin Tuck would be the one to watch there. But the problem is that for young, good players, everyone wants a lot. And for old, expiring players, aging players, nobody wants them. And then you have to come in and learn the system. It's just, I love trades. I wish there were a million of them. But, if there were one today, I would say, oh, wow, that's pretty cool,
Mm-hmm. What did you make, by the way, of Jerry Jones talking to Jason Garrett during that game last night?
I mean, I expect it. At this point, there's no way you could ever be surprised by anything Jerry Jones does. I think the only surprising thing was that they didn't give him a headset. You know, like I sort of thought that he would go up to the running backs coach or whoever was down on the field and be like, all right, hand it over, buddy.
What, Ian? What is the reputation? You mentioned Jim Haslett, and I think we all agree. Great game plan yesterday. And we were talking to our beat guy here, you know, in years past, he's now got the midday show with Danny Rouillet, Grant Paulson. Grant said, you know, he always dials up great game plans against certain guys, against Romo, against Eli. But what is the national perception and reputation of Has? Because here locally, frankly, by the fans, he gets killed. I know the reporters love him. He's supposedly a great guy. But in terms of what is his reputation like as a strategist and that sort of thing?
Oh, you know, it's kind of the same nationally as it is local. I mean, I think there was definitely some surprise, at least from me, that he was kept on this year. You know, I thought, I thought Jay Gruden would try to bring Paul Gunther from Cincinnati. In fact, he did, although it didn't end up happening because Gunther was promoted. But you know, his reputation isn't great. But I'm just not sure he's always had great players to work with. Like obviously, last year, you know, didn't have great players to work with on defense, and this year, again, not great players, but he's gotten some young guys to play really, really well. I mean, you lose Arakpo, you lose D'Angelo Hall, and against a really good offense, and they're, you know, not stopping the run, but they're stopping the run as much as anyone does, and those guys are really covering. I mean, it was, you know, doing that on the national stage can do a lot to change your reputation.
Yeah, and certainly for a guy like Colt McCoy, where does that put him? You know, here locally, obviously, this is a short-term run. The best thing about this is, in my opinion, it gives RG3 more time to get healthy. There's no quarterback controversy of that sort right now. So, you know, hopefully maybe after the bye, if Robert's healthy enough, that gives him, you know, enough time. But what does this do for Colt in his career, a game like that on a stage like that?
It gives him a job. You know, I don't think he's going to go in and be a starter. The only thing you ever want out of a backup or out of a quarterback situation in general is you say, if my starter goes down, can we play? Right. Can we still be viable? Which is one reason why, you know, I know it hasn't worked out for Kirk Cousins, but the thinking was in the offseason, the Redskins did not want to trade him. We all talked about, you know, maybe trading him. I know the Browns made a good offer, but the Redskins didn't want to trade Cousins because if RG3 got hurt, which they knew he would, then they needed a chance. And it's the same thing in Arizona when, you know, Carson Palmer goes down, Drew Stanton comes in, and you got a chance. And then Colt McCoy, you know, with this performance, and we'll see if he has another one on Sunday, he's put himself in position to make some general manager confident that if our backup goes in, we got a chance.
What was your
so that keeps you employed? You know, backups make $3 or $4 million. That's
right. Right.
big.
Yeah, he probably made himself
It's
$5
great
million
living
over the next couple of years.
Yeah.
What was your reporting at the time of the Browns' offer for Kirk?
It was a mid-round pick, so a third rounder, I believe, was what the Browns were willing to offer.
And
Would they have gone to a second? I don't know, but
right. What do you
Now
guess
that's probably
his value?
slipped to
Like a
5.
fifth or something? Fifth or sixth? I mean, showed promise, but I mean, gotta imagine it's dropped.
Yeah, you know, I don't know, because I think now you look at the film and you say, what are we really getting?
Yeah.
You know, I'm not sure it would benefit anyone for him to be traded now.
Right.
But, you know, I don't know. There are teams who say, we scouted this guy in our system, he would be this, and we don't care what he's done in some other system. I mean, there were times last year when Cousins played and looked very good.
Yeah.
But, you know, obviously some of the turnovers just not good.
Joined by Ian Rapoport, NFL Media Insider. You can find him on Twitter at RapSheet. Of course, Thursday Night Football, now it's NFL Network exclusively. You got Saints, Panthers, 8:25. Coverage begins at 6 on the NFL Network with NFL Total Access kickoff from Charlotte. Saints-Panthers game, that's a battle for first place. How bad has that division been?
It's not good. It's not good, but it's also really strange, so it makes up for not being good by being weird. I have no idea what the Saints are. I honestly have no idea. They've looked horrible at times. The Bucs should have beat them, and then they go out and, really take it to the Packers and win by a few touchdowns. So, I think they can go out and be really good, and I think the fact that they've simplified it on defense, which Rob Ryan seems to do every year at this point when everyone's going nuts. I think they can be good, but someone is going to win that division at 8-8, and then go into the playoffs and have a chance. There's one of these every year, and there's just we'll see Thursday night. It should be interesting. I think the Panthers are probably a little better than we think, considering all the stuff they've dealt with. But I don't think anyone is world beaters in that division.
Of course, you got Tom Brady against Peyton Manning once again in the regular season. Do you believe this is going to be the first of two this season? Are they going to meet each other again in the AFC Championship?
Well, if that was the case, I would not complain. I love these games. And, I remember, I think it was either last year or 2 years ago, where Patriots go up, 17-0, and something like go up 17 points, and everyone's sort of talking about a blowout. But with Peyton Manning, it's never over. And these games they take forever. There's a million touchdowns. You got to watch the whole thing, and it's awesome. I love it, and I know I will guarantee you we're going to see quotes come across Twitter this week that say, Peyton Manning says, well, we're actually not playing against Tom Brady. We're playing against our defense.
Right.
And I go, yeah, right. Because every time Peyton's on the field, Brady knows what he's doing, and vice versa. These guys love it. They're competitive. They're friendly, but they're very competitive. And it makes it really fun to watch.
Well, yeah, you could see the glimmer in Brady's eyes when he was asked about it after the 5-touchdown performance, and he was like, it's going to be fun. He was looking forward to it.
They always do. And like Brady and Manning specifically, they love saying, that's really about you guys. For us, it's another game. Like, no, it's not. Like, it's not. It's different, and you see in their performance, it's different.
All right, Ian, good stuff as always. See you in Rapoport. You can follow him on Twitter at Rapsheet. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, so there you go. His reporting, and I know it's not earth-shattering. It was reported at the time. Kirk Cousins for a third rounder is what he heard.
Oh,
from
if they could turn
Cleveland.
back time, they would definitely deal him for a third-round pick in
Right?
a heartbeat.
They lost out on that.
Heartbeat.
Also, do you think it's a big deal that they wasted a pick on a kicker? It was a 7th rounder, wasn't it? What was it? This
I
year?
think it was that one on Hawker.
Yeah. 7th rounders.
I always think it's a waste
I
when
don't
you
sweat
draft kickers.
seventh-round picks that much.
I don't sweat them either, but when you're in the business of trying to build talent, I don't know.
I would
It is
never.
kind of a
I would
waste.
never draft a punter or a kicker with a.
What about
7th rounder.
Janikowski? If you know what you know now about Janikowski,
Well, wasn't-
20-year career, he was like a first rounder.
He was
First or
definitely a
second?
first-rounder.
Yeah.
Locke
Oh,
was
that's
a
just
first-rounder.
absurd.
I know, but look at him. He's ended up having an amazing career with one team. He's had a great career.
And the
Maybe-
Raiders picked, was it Shane Leckler, the punter? They picked
Yeah.
him really high. They love drafting kickers and punters high.
Okay, but they're the Raiders.
How about
I know.
How about the Ravens drafted Dave Zastidle in the 4th or 5th round a while ago? He's a punter.
Well, remember
Right.
the Skins drafted the kid from Georgia Tech, the punter, Derek
I remember.
Frost. Was it Frost?
No, it's a different
Durant
name.
Brooks? Was
Yeah.
that
Oh,
the
no,
guy?
no,
it.
Durant Brooks. You're
Yeah,
right.
that's
Brooks,
Not
the
Derek
guy.
Frost. Durant Brooks.
And he didn't make the roster.
All right, when we come back,
Drafted him with like 6th rounder, I think.
we've been talking about the Redskins win all morning, and you can chime in triumphant Tuesday, 800-636-1067. But let's take a serious look ahead at what the Redskins have on the schedule and what you can project. 800-636-1067.